Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Pensado's Place. Our guest has 2 Grammy nominations and a top 10 hit with SZA. You'll meet Hendrix in just a second. But first, a really serious issue that we just want to give a shout out and support and love to everybody in the state of Texas and of course our creative friends from any specific genre. Texas is a rich musical state, from rock and roll and country to hip hop to Tejano, roots music, alternative music, great musical cities like Houston and Austin, and every small town has great musicians in it. We send you love. We'd love to send you heat. We'd love to send you water. This will pass, but know that we're thinking about you. And also, guys, for all you creators, Project Link is live on pensadosplace.tv. Remember, that's brought to you by BandPay, and you can literally use it to market yourself, generate leads, negotiate whatever you need to, have the project be live all the way through. Go to pensadosplace.tv/project-link and get your game on. Another thing we want to do is just recognize our friends who are up for Grammy nominations each week. First one is our buddy Luca Predolisi, one of the most brilliant and talented and committed member of our musical community. He's up for Dance Record of the Year with Diplo. Get down, Luca. Hats off to you. And now, make sure you sign up for our newsletter, like and subscribe, click notify. Our guest is Hendrix, an amazingly talented guy, hot as fire, top 10 record with SZA, 2 Grammy nominations. You're going to enjoy this conversation. And next week, Nashville giant Dave Cobb. Here's Hendrix. How are you?
Man, I'm not too bad. Just hanging in there, man. Just working.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is so cool is when people are able to grasp onto a concept of music. Now, you've got something called New Age Vintage, right?
That's my whole thing, actually. That's the funny thing. That's like when me and my boys be talking, we're like, that's literally what we be saying. Like, man, I want to make that New Age Vintage. Like, it's funny that you said it like that. Like, that's literally what we be saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about me.
No,
Al Schmidt called me a dinosaur 2 days ago.
Nah, man.
So tell us what New Age Vintage is.
To me, I guess New Age Vintage means it's like music that's just gonna last in this generation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I feel like a lot of things now are just like, it's like microwave beats, man. It's like microwave music. They just do like 4 bars, 8 bars, and that's it. There's no changes, but like something that just feels good. Like, you know, I feel like, especially now, a lot of things are changing. You know, the climate, you know, the world's changed. And I feel like people want to feel again, you know what I'm saying? So it's like lately it's just been like, I mean, just the fact that a record like Good Day is even on the top 10, like that just shows you people want to feel again, you know what I'm saying? Because that song has so much feeling. Like, you know, it's not like your perfect club record or something like that. And I mean, I have those too, but I mean, I don't even know if that's going to last as long as Good Days. That's the, you know what I mean? But like, man, you know, I think that's just what it is. You know what I mean? To me, you know.
Yep.
What were your influences coming along, particularly on guitar?
On guitar?
Music too, but include a little bit about guitar.
Because I really got more into production like probably like 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But then like guitar, I've been playing for like 26 years. So I'm like 36 now. So when I was coming up, like I was listening to a lot of alternative music actually. And then I was listening to like R&B too, but really I was listening to a lot of like real alternative, like Nirvana and like Smashing Pumpkins. I was listening to like one of the first notebooks that I had was like Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. I was learning to read tabs on that, and I was learning to read tabs on Radiohead, OK Computer, and I love Radiohead. Like they fire as hell, man. But you know, but just like in that, and that was when I was in like 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? So. You know what I mean?
So, you know what's interesting about what you're saying? Tell me if you think this is anywhere close to accurate. I always preach and I think we do oftentimes, that don't stay in a lane. Like, learn from all kinds of places.
Oh yeah.
Get your influences from all kinds of places, and then it's going to allow you to combine some things, create a hybrid that becomes your signature. But if
Nah,
you just in
exactly.
one box, you're going to be in one box. Do you agree?
Oh no, 100% I agree. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
100%, man. Because it's like I feel like I've just taken from like, I mean, obviously it's music, man. Everybody takes from everything. You know what I mean? Like even back in the day, they was just taken from something. So
Absolutely.
it's like, you know, it's just like I feel like I've just taken a little bit from like everything and just kind of figured out what's my favorite stuff to listen to. And then it's like I try and make that. Like I try and make like what I would want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes.
Love
You
it.
know what I mean? It's just like it's like more of like an ear thing at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Because I know a bunch of cold players that can't make a melody in the room with an artist to save their life. You'd have to like literally tell them what to do. You know what I'm saying? And like I'll come in there and the first thing I play, they're like, oh shit, that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, but that takes a while. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the secret, low key. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like making something that people just want to resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately.
Wow.
Hey, Los, tell me if you think I'm wrong. You too, Herb, please. Rock and roll is and rock is pretty closely tied to the American blues scene, you know,
100%.
particularly the rock that comes from Europe. And so that's a very, very, very feeling type of music. And I started out as a rock guitar player too, because my mother taught me guitar, and I was playing pretty young. But
Mhm.
if you survey the landscape, a lot of the best songwriters and producers have your background. Like Max Martin was the lead singer in a heavy metal band. Pharrell was listening to rock.
Mhm.
We've had them on the show, the lead singers for rock bands, lead singers for rock bands. And I think that energy that you have in your music is a function of the vestiges of your rock and roll days. Do you think
Yeah.
that's possible?
I think like partially, like I think it's like that mixed with the jazz. Like it's like basically taking that like alternative vibe, but then throwing the jazz in there. Like a
Yeah.
little bit of, like rock with a little extra sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And
you
to
know,
that point, what is sort of fascinating is that you're becoming the vintage, you're becoming yourself new age vintage. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just making music. Your approach to music is respect for the past, use it in new ways, be authentic with it.
not 100%.
And as that mix comes together, because when I listen to your stuff, I'm caught by all the stuff I recognize that is virtuoso stuff, playing stuff, borrowing from other things, and then I can enjoy it in the pocket and in the beat and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. And it just is, it's amazing how it feels new, but your perspective is literally the future of music. You
Thank
know,
you, man. I
you're,
mean,
yeah, you're on the edge of the wave that's now coming in, because yeah, we have to feel we're in pandemics, we're isolated.
nah,
It's so I have much respect for what you're doing. And to Dave's question, what I think is interesting is that you have figured out whatever I pull it from, it better feel right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Or I'm gonna switch it quick because you know every now you know it's real life. So sometimes you come in there and you know they like the first thing I don't know I'm like switch it up, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like don't ever really like that's another thing. It's not having an ego too. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when I go in the room, it's just like I'm just there to make the record. Like I'm not like oh this has to be like this way like or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I just be like, oh, you want to do like a whole different vibe? I bet we off this. Boom. Let's go to the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do that shit to myself. Like so I'll be playing. I'm like, I could play something colder, and then I like try it again. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Don't you think that when you try to write a hit, you can't, but when you just be yourself and write for yourself and just have fun, that's when those come out, you know? Um,
Yep,
it
100%.
creativity never comes when
I
you ask
mean
it to. Creativity never comes when you ask it to. It just sneaks up from behind when you don't need it.
Yeah, when you least expect it, man. I mean, that's kind of how the Walk 'Em Down one happened. It was like an accident, low key.
Really?
You know what I mean?
I want to talk
Yeah.
about Walk 'Em Down towards the end of the show, break it down a little bit. But what a great.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I can't wait. I apologize, sir, but I can't wait. That kick drum. Tell me about that kick drum.
What, the Walk 'Em Down one? Well, that was AP did the beats on that. Shout out to Cash Money AP. But
Joshua mix it, but it's beautifully distorted. It's not Elephant Man distorted. It's music
that's
distorted.
that Fruity Loops, man.
And when we get off of this, I'm gonna call Jason and try and get that damn sample, because that's the future, man. Nobody wants to hear clean, pretty kick drums anymore. They want something that matches the pandemic we're in. And man, a record executive once told me he never signed a kick drum. Why do I care so much about them? But I would sign that kick drum if I was a record executive. That's how good it is.
Yeah, man, that was AP's kick. You gotta ask Cash Money AP, man. Yeah, he killed
Tell him hello.
that.
I just recently got on, put him on my radar. He's gifted. He's so talented.
He's dope. He's one of the fastest at making beats I've ever seen. He literally makes a whole beat in like 10 minutes. It's like insane.
Wow.
He don't even think about it. He just like boom. It's like I give him the sample and he's just like, oh, okay, whoop, and that's it. It's gone. Beat's over.
So your process, are you writing mostly melodies and stuff like that? Or you're doing beats as well? Are you top
No,
line?
so with me, it's like I feel like I guess I'm kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I got the sessions when like if I'm in with guys that do melodies, like let's say I'm in with another dude that's cold on keys or something, I might do the beat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can do the drums for sure. You know what I mean? And I have records out that I've done like the whole beat, like 100%, or did the drums too. That like Talk to You for Brent. Like I did that whole beat from scratch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like 100%. Like there's a few others, but I mean, I just happen to have a lot of producer homies that are drum guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's kind of like a safe place for me, where it's like, they're gonna do the drums. Okay, you want me to just do all the music? All right, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could do all the music and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely.
Yeah, but because it comes easy to me. It takes me actually longer to make drums, but I feel like now I've done so much drums that I actually know what good drums should sound like. So it's like I'm good at mixing and stuff. And because I work out of Pro Tools, and then so I'm good at like, I gain stage everything. I'll be having my master chain and make sure it hits right, and you know what I mean, and everything's sitting right, stereo width, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I make sure it sounds good. I feel like that's the thing. Like I'm kind of like the glue guy. Like I glue stuff all together, and then I'm good with the melodies. But like if I need to do drums, like I'll 100% a beat right there. You know what I mean? Like it's not a problem. But I mean, AP is the drum guy, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna let you do the drums. Like if we in a session, it's like I'm gonna let you do the drums. You know what I'm saying? Or like Seven or Wonder Girl or one of them. Like, you know what I mean? My boy Nascent too. Shout Nascent he did Good Days with me and stuff too. You know what I mean? His drum's crazy. You know what I mean?
Who do you trust with your mixes? Do you do them yourself? Or do you?
Right now, there's two guys that I've been really messing with. My boy Etai, and then Jeff Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Jackson. I'll be really sending most of my mixes to Jeff Jackson, to be honest.
Okay.
As of late, like when I really need stuff, like when stuff's like really about to come out, like I always pre-mix it. Like I'll have good pre-mix that almost sound like it's mixed damn near like before.
Yeah.
But then it's like Jeff just takes it to the next level for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like every time. You know what I mean? So
I'm always kind of curious about where we're heading for the future in terms of the sound and the production. And I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe you can help me. But the mixes I get sent to me, there's a pattern where it's going a little more lo-fi, a little slower beats. And do you have a barometric reading on where we're going to be when we come out of this pandemic? It feels to me like it's going to be like a lot of talented guys went into a garage and did a good mix, but they could never do it again, or a good thing. It's going to have a beautiful randomness and a beautiful new not pristine, but feel. The groove's going to be more important than the melody in some instances. And what's your thoughts on that? And Herb, chime in too.
I mean, I think like, I don't know, like as far as more like the mixing or like the style of music that's going to be more
both
like,
the type of what production's going to be like and what the songs are going to be like, and you know, we were coming up to a change in music.
Right.
You know, we were getting more singing, more melodic type hip hop right before the pandemic, and it wasn't just strictly rap, chorus, singer. Now the rappers are singing the rap, you know.
Right. 100%.
And so what's next is what I'm saying.
I mean, I think like, I don't know. I think dance music's gonna make actually a comeback, like at some point, like new dance, like, but in like a way where it's like almost like kind of on some new classic vibe dance music. You know what I mean? But then also because people are gonna want to, like, once COVID's really over, people are gonna want to party. Like that's one thing, like 100%. Like the club's gonna be going crazy. All the parties gonna go up. Like LA gonna be like the 1930s or some crap. You know what I'm saying? Like once it's over, you know, literally that, and then mixed with like the good days vibes, like stuff that people want to feel. Like, you know, if they're feeling down, they want to feel good. They want something they can just hit over and over again, or lay in the bathtub. A girl come home, lay in her bathtub and listen to some music, or you know, after a day's work. You know what I mean? Like I feel like those are the vibes. You know what I mean? That and then the trap stuff's gonna be there, but I think like dance is gonna, like, we're gonna have more like real dance records like in the club, like coming soon. I think in the next 10-20 years, you know, where it's like actual dance music, 4 on the floor and stuff like that. You know,
I think you're right. It's weird you said that because this is gonna really age me. But I tend to stay up late at night, and about 4:30 this morning, screaming in my headphones was Johnny's Gills Rub You the Right Way, and I damn near broke my neck, you know, just because and the point I'm getting to is I think we're going to get back to celebrating, to where music is fun and we can release through it, and just, you know, because we've gone through hell and we're just understanding the level of hell that we're going through, both individually and collectively, right? And that's when I think musical artists lead and say, now let us show you how to exhale, or how to, and let me give you a piece. I mean, you know, I'm going back a little bit, but there was a reason why Happy by Pharrell was just so to the point you hated it, but you still liked it, but you hated it just because the human spirit needed it.
100%.
And I think we're going to enter into a period, I think we're in it now, where it can be created. And then those records are going to come out. And as we kind of emerge, I think you're right. The energy is going to be celebrate, connect, don't be divisive, be simple. You know, like it ain't, let's stop being heavy for me. Right?
Nah, 100%. People going to have fun. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Great observation. What song that you played a significant amount of guitar in are you the most proud of? And this doesn't reflect on the artist or anything, just something that you finished and you went, damn, I like that. Because I know you like it.
Something that I wrote that I was like really into. Yeah. Man, I don't even know, man. That's a tricky one. I mean, I'd play guitar on like every song, so it's like,
give me a guitar player that you like. We all guitar players have our heroes.
My heroes. I mean, obviously, I love Hendrix. I mean, honestly, sidebar, the whole Hendrix thing. My mother's last name's Hendrix, so that's why I took the Hendrix thing.
Okay,
like, it wasn't like just because of Jimmy. You know what I mean? But Jimmy's I'm a huge Jimmy fan for sure. Right. Obviously, and then like you got like the Wes Montgomery, you know, on the jazz side. Yeah. You know what I mean? Pat Martino, Pat Metheny, Joe Pass, all them guys. You know what I mean?
Jazz guys, then, huh?
I love the jazz guys. I mean, obviously, you know, like the Radiohead, I'm blocking the guitarist's name, but he's insane. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, you got the Edge, U2, you got tons of people. And like even Metallica, like Kirk Hammett, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of them, you know, there's a bunch. Like I used to listen to so much rock and alternative and then stuff like that, you know. And then even like on the R&B side, you know, like from like Hitman, like, you know what I mean, like
Like
what's his
Steve
name?
Cropper.
Like Stevie J and you know what I mean. He was a cold guitar. He played everything. He played keys. He played guitar. All, you know what I mean. But yeah, man. Like and then obviously um, blocking his name, man. There's another guy that was like big on the R&B stuff. Man, crazy.
Under pressure. You're under pressure. The whole internet.
I'm under pressure. You know what I mean? And then when I say it, he's gonna be like, "Damn, you forgot me too."
What's your favorite brand of guitar, or what brands do you play and are comfortable with?
Actually, when I first started playing the guitar, it was nylon. You know what I mean? So I learned on a nylon initially. You know what I mean? Like that was my mother bought me a nylon like way back in the day, like when I was like 9, 10 years old, because I was playing. I lived in the city and I used to go to my boy's apartment. He had a little crappy guitar in there that I was just playing over and over again. And I guess she saw that and she was just like, for my birthday, she bought me a guitar, and then I started going crazy playing that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that I started with, and then like my first electric was like a regular Fender Strat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And what do you play now? What do you play?
I mean, so actually, it's funny. I got this. Well, I play a PRS a lot, but I actually got a homie that's from Connecticut. Shout out my boy Chavez from A12 Guitars, and like I had linked with him like I don't know, like 8 years ago, like back when I was in New York. But he builds guitars, you know what I'm saying? And I've actually been playing his guitars for a little while too. Like on the electric guitars, like I literally got a guitar that's like a one-piece build that he made. It's some crazy. This one right here. Like this is literally like he built this whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
What are the pickups? What are the pickups?
This dude Centel out of I think he's out of here, out of California. I've never met the guy, but that's who. And they're like hand wound and stuff. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of, it responds kind of like a Gibson a little bit, but it's like, it got a real great tone, man.
Beautiful guitar. Beautiful guitar.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, the wood's actually really old. That's the funny thing. It's a new guitar, but the wood's from like the 90s. It's like a quilted top, like killer quilt. You know what I mean?
You ever done this? You pick up a guitar and immediately you know if it was played by somebody good or somebody not good. Have you ever done that?
Not really. I don't think so.
In a used guitar store, you can kind of tell which ones were played by amateurs, which ones were played by guys.
I mean, I can tell by the setup if like you taking yourself seriously or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I pick up a guitar in the studio and it's all like wonky and shit,
yeah,
it's like, then they ain't even really like care about it like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I feel like when you pick up like like I done like picked up, like I remember I was in the studio with like Chris Payton and I was like trying his guitar out and his thing was set up real nice. And I was like, this is like how I would set up my shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could just tell like by how it's set up, if it feels good, But it's like I feel like even the wonky action at this point, I could pretty much play. I could play it and still get good notes out of it.
I gotta interrupt. Nile Rodgers.
Nile Rodgers. Oh yeah, dope, man.
Was that the one you were thinking of?
Nah, it wasn't even Nile Rodgers, man.
Oh.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna say it before the podcast is over.
I'll help you actually.
Well, actually, you know who you know what? He's the guy that's from Tony.
Raphael.
Oh yeah.
Raphael Sadiq. Yes,
Gotcha.
my dude Raphael Sadiq. Man, I never met him before, but one of the homies we working with him a bunch. What happened?
The guy that played a lot of their records was a guitar player named Jubu.
Okay, he played the bass. He played the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we know Raphael well. We can connect you if you need to.
Oh yeah, man.
Here's the question. Tell us about your experience with SZA. The writing, the production.
SZA? Man, so this is the way that record happened was just very interesting because I've met SZA about 2-3 times, but we never actually worked together in the room ever. You know what I'm saying? So like me and SZA have never actually like been in the studio together, like working, you know what I mean? So when I made the Good Days melody, I was in an artist session with an artist that I'm gonna just leave all the names out just because I don't want to like, you know what I'm saying? But basically I was in an artist session for like a big artist, you know what I mean? And I came up with this vibe and they just pushed on from the vibe. Like it wasn't like, you know, to them, they wanted to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And I had sent that the voice note of that loop to Nas sent, and he put drums on it. And then when I got it back, I finished out like the rest of the music, the production of it, the bass, all the little sounds and stuff. And it was like more like a stripped down version of the beat, like because Carter came in at the end and added like strings and he added flute and stuff like that, and some like sound effects and arranged it a little bit more, like the latter half of the record. And so basically kind of just sat on the beat. I sent it back to that artist like as a beat, you know what I mean? And she kind of like kept it moving on that, you know what I mean? And didn't really say anything. And so it was kind of it was in the hard drive, you know, for like 2 months, you know what I mean? And then, you know, me and Nascent were talking and I was just telling him like, man, this is one of those ones, like we should try and get this to SZA for real. So like he gave it to Carter Lang, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, obviously he worked with SZA. He did like her whole last album, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it took him a while to actually end up playing it for her, but eventually he got in the room with her again and played it for her, I think after a bunch of stuff. And she ended up cutting just the verse, like the first verse, the whole, like, I think like only all the way up to like You Don't Care. Like literally You Don't Care was the last line, you know what I mean? And it was like that for like a year and a half. And this was in like 2019, the beginning of 2019. So this was like 2018, I made the idea. I think she got it in like December of like 2018. And I heard a cut from Carter and them like early in 2019. You know what I mean? Like I heard a version of it, you know what I'm saying? And it was like an urban legend, man, for a long time. You know what I mean? One of those records, like, yeah, I got this SZA record. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen though, but like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like that for a minute. And then literally, I think she doubled back on it like at the beginning of the pandemic and started writing more, finished the hook, finished basically up to where the Hit Different version was. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then I heard that version of it from Carter too, like in the studio with him. And then apparently around that time, that's when she got Jacob Collier on it. Like, and then like she leaked it on her Twitter and on her Instagram. She was like, hey, I could do the song, Jacob Collier, the GOAT, whatever, whoop. And then the thing just came out. And I was like, wait, that's my song. Like, crap. I'm like, oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And then she obviously then later came out at the end of Hit Different. And then it was just at the end. And then, you know, then she made him wait again, dropped it on Christmas. So it was like, it's just been this ongoing thing of like, when is it really coming? Like, is this even going to happen? Like, you know what I mean? So, but it's cool that it's actually like out and going nuts now. You know what I mean? It's like, it was worth the wait. It was definitely a buildup. You know what I mean?
And I think what's important for the audience to know is that it happens like that sometimes. It happens the same way with Trap Money Benny. You know, something goes someplace, sits forever, gets marinated on, sometimes gets lost in the hard drive, comes up some other place. And before you know it, it takes its own life and momentum, and you're following the song. The song's not being pushed by people, it's being, you know, passed around and shaped and touched on, and boom, you know, so you can't be afraid of that process. That process is important, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Thankfully, it wasn't too many other hands on it. Really, it was just Carter.
Oh, cool.
So it was like, really like Carter was good. Because the thing was, is SZA cut the record to like me and Nascent's beat without Carter being on it. Like he just played it for her in the beginning. You know what I mean? And then when he realized like she was really going to go, then he went and was like, yo, I'm going to finish this. You know what I mean? And then he came back and was like, boom, he hit the flute and he hit the strings and the like extra sense. And but he like because if I played you the beat that we had and then what he finished, the one that he finished is really like the one that's out now. So it's like he added a hell of, he went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was a lot there already, but it was just like the core of the beat. But SZA had already cut to that version of it. So he was like, I can't really like get in the way of this. I gotta like produce around it. You know what I mean? And he's good at doing that too. Like he's like a great post guy. You know what I mean? Like Carter's a great post guy. Great at great at a little bit of everything, but like post he shines for sure. You know what I mean?
Going back to new age vintage, are you using a slew of actual older original keyboards, or are you using the virtual versions, the old, the virtual ones, or are you experimenting with more new plugins and new keyboards?
I mean, right now, I ain't gonna lie, I've been using like Prophet X a bunch, but that's like some new stuff. But that like for keyboards and stuff, it's just very versatile, and I just been getting and then also just like the VSTs like Trillion and like like Arturia, stuff that like mimics the old stuff, but I don't actually like. I'm actually gonna start buying some like other like more analog synths soon, because I can control all of them with my guitar. I actually be controlling the synths with my guitar too. Like I be playing them on keys, but then I also control them with my guitar because of the MIDI out. You know what I mean? And like I got a MIDI thing. You ever heard of MIDI guitar too? It's like
Fisher. Is the company named Fisher?
No. It's literally a program. It's called MIDI Guitar 2. That's literally all it's called. You know what I'm saying? No. And shouts to DJ Dahi. He was the one that showed me that. Great dude. But yeah, he was like, I remember he made a joke about it. He was like, hey man, when you get a Grammy, just like shout me out. And I showed you this MIDI Guitar 2 shit, man. Because it was just like, I was like,
absolutely.
I was like, absolutely, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But
can you take me on you know how they speed up those videos and everything's going real fast? Can you take me on a 30-second tour of when you walk in the studio to when you come out with a finished product? Just describe it. You come in, you sit down, you sit down with the guitar, you sit down with the keyboard, you work, you leave.
Well, like if I'm on, all right, well, it's kind of similar in both settings, but if I'm at the house, like, I mean, really, somebody comes in, sit down, I kind of start talking with them. And then, I'll start playing chords and stuff and just kind of I just look at people's faces too. Like I can kind of tell like, okay, you like this, you know what I'm saying? Or are you trying to like this, or do you really like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I kind of just study people, like, you know what I mean? I think it's about like studying people's reactions, you know what I mean? And then, because I mean, obviously if I'm here by myself, I'll make a whole different vibe, you know what I mean? That will have nothing to do with it. But then like once I get the guitar or keys down, like whatever, if it's like music, just the first bit of music, then get into drums. If there's a guy that's there that's doing drums, or like if it's me, we'll just get into the drums, and then like I'm up with a vocal track pretty quick. I got like my chain that's up, and I got a little whatchamacallit, template, you know what I mean? So like, I'm already like like if I'm with an artist, I'm already working in that template where I got the vocals, you know what I mean? So I'm building the beat in there, and then I'm cutting on the mic and we're going, and then and then finish it out, kind of do my little mix on it, and that's it.
That's simple, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's not simple at all, man. That's if I'm like in my house, like running it. If I'm in another studio, like, I'm sending files and stuff. Like I'm putting my effects on the guitar or whatever, and I'm sending or on the whole beat. Like sometimes I'll like get the files from like the other producers, or like if I'm in a session and I'll like mix the beat down, and then I'm sending that to the engineer, and then they loading that in the set track, and then they going, in there to cut it, in the booth, and then we finish it, But then, sometimes it's nice because the engineer will give you a good little pre-mix too, depending on, well, some engineers, some of them, I'll be like, man, mine is better. Depends who it is.
Now, before we get to batter's box, what's the future hold for you? What are you working on? What are you excited about? Where's it going? Give us a snapshot.
So I mean, SZA's reached out, you know what I mean? So I mean, I think she's not really in the studio right now, but obviously I'm looking forward to working on her stuff,
Sure.
you know, more in depth, like kind of helping her finish the project wherever I can fit in. Lately I've been actually working with Don Tolliver recently.
Mm.
His project sounds insane. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's crazy. He's taking some risks in there, man. So it's really dope
Oh,
to
no.
see. He's not just sticking to the same sound that he had before. He's on another level right now. His pen is incredible. He's just going stupid. And then obviously Brent's going crazy.
Yep.
Brent got a whole bunch of little secret ones that I can't even talk about coming, but we've been tapped into, you know what I mean? Like see some crazy features, you know what I mean? I can't even speak on. But yeah, they coming. You know what I mean? I hope they ready because Brent out here slaying.
No, we're ready. We're ready and waiting.
Nah, 100%.
All right, so now we got a Lower East Side New York boy. Yeah, I know. You like sports?
You know, I used to play football, and I barely am into sports now, man. It's funny, man. Like I'm so like the music has kind of took
Taking
my
over.
whole life. And then
So
I mean, on my spare time, I chill and I've been playing games and stuff too. But
So our bad sport analogy is batter's box. So Dave's kind of like the pitcher, and you're the batter. You're supposed to just knock his block off. You're supposed to hit him with that bat. So he just
100%.
told you 8 or 9 questions, and you just throw that shit right back at him. Look, he's taking some Gatorade as he gets
He's
ready.
getting ready.
He's
I need
getting
the
ready.
water in there.
Dave, tee up.
I'm ready.
Fire away.
808s.
Man, foreign tech.
Synthesizers.
Moog.
Melodies.
Melodies. Guitar. I don't know.
Auto-tune.
Antares.
That's a jazz thing. Major or minor?
Minor for sure.
Favorite beats per minute? Favorite tempo?
Maybe like
Please say something faster.
like 155.
Okay,
Maybe like 150, 155.
a little faster.
Yeah.
Effects or reverb? Your choice.
Effects or reverb? Both. but I mean,
What's your
like
favorite reverb?
the reverb right now. I love that BX20 AKG verb, the one that's like a UAD one. It's like UAD.
Yeah.
It's like very springy, but it just has a cool. I mean, the go-to is Valhalla, the vintage. You know what I mean? Vintage verb.
Guitar pedals. Name fave.
Oh, name my fave. Man, that belly pop delay, man. It's like a Echoplex kind of thing. You know what I mean? I love that delay, man. Yeah, that one's fire.
Loops.
I make them, so it's like that one's hard for me.
No, that's a great answer. The best answer, probably.
Yeah,
then,
I mean,
outboard gear.
arcade, maybe arcade. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like for if I needed a loop, arcade or something. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. And then what'd you just say?
Just outboard gear. Your favorite piece of outboard gear?
Oh, CL1B. 100%.
Great answer.
I just grabbed one actually. I actually got one. Like they're still out here.
If you know a piece of gear, if your studio caught fire, what piece of gear would you rescue first? Not a guitar, but like a piece of gear.
Piece of gear? Man, probably this damn Prophet, because I've been going crazy with it. Or no, my Apollo. And a laptop, obviously. Hard drive.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
That's number one. All the other stuff can be got again. The hard drives is timeless.
That's where the money is.
Money is that, man. The sessions.
Just a public service announcement. I've got friends, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I've got friends that back up their hard drives, but they put them in the same place as the drive they just backed up. So So when you
I
live
back up
in
my
earthquake,
drive, but it's right here still.
when you back up in earthquake country, you might want to have it in a different house, you know, or a different
Yeah,
place.
no, true. Got to put it in a lockbox or something.
That's our public service for the day, Herb.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. I'm taking heed to it, man.
Listen, man, the fun part about our job is every week we kind of get a snapshot of the business. And we get a snapshot from all kinds of different places.
Mhm.
And when we air your show, it really tells people where it's going and how good the hands are that it's in, and the respect for the music and the fact that the hits are still popping and it's current, but
Mhm.
the art is being paid attention to. And
Gotcha.
that's why I have so much respect for you for doing, because that, you know, you're talking Wes Montgomery and all kinds of stuff and Pat Metheny, and some people are looking like, was that my science teacher in the back? They have no idea, but your top 10 was SZA with those kind of influences and stuff. And that's a lesson to all the people watching. You've got all this stuff to learn from, to be influenced, to take from, and then put it in your own thing and come out with something different, man. And that's true artistry and true creativity, man. And I applaud you for that.
No, I appreciate it, man. I
I
mean, I
agree.
still listen to Future though. That's the thing, you know.
That's right. That's right.
So it's like, man, like it's like Future mixed with Radiohead. Like where
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that,
yeah.
you know,
And
that's
that's the future.
that's
No,
Future, yeah.
right, right.
Literally, 100%.
And listen, so
100%.
glad you joined us. Anytime you want to come back on the show, please do.
Nah, 100%, man. It was. Thank y'all for having me. This is amazing.
Oh no, it is our pleasure. We're the ones who are in awe. Like, we get to meet this incredible talent all the time.
Yeah.
Now I got a whole bunch of records of yours I got to go put in the car,
Man.
play really loudly. Yeah, you know, old rock and roll shit never dies. So
Hell yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Dave, why don't you take us home, man?
Oh man, I was sitting here not even thinking about that. I think that having influences from the past is vital. The shoulders we stand on are pretty broad, and I like it when people give credit to the old music. But a technique that I've always found useful, and I'll share that with everyone, is instead of going back to those guys as heroes, go back to their heroes and start from the beginning. I said that a long time ago, but I think that's pretty vital in today's world where we're in our studios way more than we ever were, you know.
100%.
I think having influences is vital, and I know that sounds kind of pedestrian to say or whatever the word is, but check it out, man. We'll see you soon.